You're listening to Oilersnation Radio, presented by the Nation Network. Subscribe for free on iTunes, Spotify, or wherever you get your podcasts from.
Thank you very much, Lisa. Welcome to Oilersnation Radio. This is episode 56. I am your friendly neighborhood bag milk. To my left is Nation Dan. To my right is Nick Lausgood. And on the far right is Rick. On the board today, we've got Hernan sitting in for Tyler, who is apparently dead.
He has the sniffles.
He's got some kind of itis, and he's rubbing ointment on his loins to try and recover. I don't know if that's going to work. I told him he should probably have some kind of medicine, but he's insistent on rubbing his loins with ointment.
I don't think Hernan's going to give the chair back.
No, nor should he. Hernan, you keep that chair. You don't let Tyler back in here. As always, I want to go ahead and thank our friends at Sherwood Ford the Giant for making all this possible. Go ahead and follow them on Twitter at Sherwood Ford and on Instagram at Sherwood Ford _the Giant. Also, make sure to follow along with Frank versus Gus going again this year. My boy Frank, happy birthday to you, buddy. I love you. He is 1-0. Gus is 0-1. That's okay, though. The good boy battle rages on all season. Dan, what they got going on?
The month of October is actually called We Scare Hunger Month at Sherwood Ford. And so they're going to be collecting food donations. And you can bring those in to them at the address. Again, Bag Milk?
The address?
Yeah, the address.
I don't know their address.
The dealership.
They're out in Sherwood Park.
They're out in Sherwood Park. It's on Broadmoor Boulevard. You can't miss it. It's the biggest Ford dealership ever. Don't quote me on that.
Look for the sexiest Ford salespeople that you will ever hope to find.
But yeah, We Scare Hunger campaign is on again. Bring your food donations down. They'll be helping out the Strathcona County Food Bank, which all food banks need help right now.
Talk to them on Twitter again, at Sherwood Ford, on Instagram, at Sherwood Ford _the Giant. They are fine people. They are partners of the network, of this podcast, and they are just all around wonderful human beings. I want to start off today with a recap of the season opener. We are finally here. The regular season is going. The Oilers have played. They have won. Rick, you were at the game. What do you remember about it?
I remember most of the early part of the day. I was trying to conserve myself because I was getting pretty excited.
I looked at your outfit. You look sweet, man. You had your onesie on?
Yeah, no, I had the onesie on. I had my Keep Nooch Forever. I had a jersey on. I do have Oiler boxers, so I had those on. I had Oiler socks and Oiler shoes.
That's big.
I remember getting to the game, sitting down, the entrance. I was very, very, very upset with everybody in the building because as they announced the team, nobody was standing. They sat there and clapped or cheered or whatever, but they sat down the whole damn time.
It was like a golf tournament.
People were waiting for the Walter Dale Bridge to come out.
Dude, Connor McDavid got fucking introduced and they didn't fucking stand up. And it was right before the anthem, so it's like you're gonna be standing up anyways.
Man,
I was standing. I was very angry. I think I even tweeted out.
You did tweet about it.
I was embarrassed.
When you start a season off like that, it's
tough. Game one. We should be fucking pumped.
Oilers
I was
fans have been
excited.
hurt.
I couldn't do anything all day because I was so damn excited.
I couldn't either, actually.
And then everyone just sits there and, oh, Connor McDavid. Oh, I heard about that guy.
We did launch Nation Gear that day, so I was doing a few things.
You were probably standing up wherever you were. You were probably standing up.
I was in fact standing up at the
I know you.
at the
You were
Canadian Brew
standing
House
up.
in
We
St.
got a
Albert.
good story about that.
Yeah,
Everybody was sitting down, and that pissed me off.
We got all kinds of great stories.
But we
in
won.
St. Albert.
So
Aside from horrible fans, what else happened? Do you I know you were having cocktails. Did you remember then Connor's ridiculous goal in the third period?
Oh, yeah, I know. I remember that. The right through the middle, and there's nothing sexier than his celebration afterwards. I've watched that on loop about 612 times, and the way he hits the ice with his knee, the triple fist pump. Oh, man, it is good.
And it was right in front of the Canucks bench where he
Yeah,
finished off.
it
too.
always
It's
turns out to be
beautiful.
that way, isn't it?
It's beautiful.
It's always, he comes right back up. It's right in front of
It's a thing
him. I
of
think when he
beauty.
did the one against Philly, it was probably the same thing, too, where he went through around their whole team.
And he's not taunting them. He's just
he's
just, it
celebrating
just
with
He's
ends
going
up
so
there.
fast that he
them.
can't stop.
Yeah, it just ends up there.
No, the boys look pretty good. You know, it wasn't the. It was game one.
Oh yeah, for sure. You
know?
can see it with Connor too, even throughout the game. Eh? Like he was when the game started. There was a couple of plays where he just didn't have quite the same finish.
You're just not quite there yet.
But yeah, that goal was. Oh boy, he's here.
It was funny because I was like, the first and second period, I was like, oh, Connor's a little bit quiet, but that's okay. I mean, he only got the 2 preseason games just coming off the injury, and then he just blows the doors open. Is there anybody better when there are two defensemen?
No.
Just, he just had enough runway and he goes right through.
He has
There's
so much
nobody
speed.
better.
You have nothing to do. What can you do? You can't try and hook or hold a guy anymore, right? So you kind of have to turn with him and hope you can get maybe your ass in front of him and try and get a little hip on hip action to knock him out of the way. But he is just too fast and too strong.
The only player I could think of would be Patrick Kane. Is another guy who could just make something out of nothing like that.
And it's even all time, right? Like, think back to all the speedsters in the past. Nobody can even touch that.
Well, it's a little bit different now that with different rules and the gameplay.
Yeah, I suppose that's true.
But, I mean, you look at a guy like Fedorov and Bure. Those guys could fly out there, and if you're not allowed to touch those swingers, for sure. And they would have. Can you imagine what Darian Hatcher would have looked like in today's NHL?
He wouldn't be.
That dude would be getting cut by the.
We saw that in 2006.
The dude would be gone right away. He wouldn't play a game.
Yeah.
Speaking about giant, slow defensemen getting cut, we're going to get to Griffin Reinhart being cut from the AHL a little bit later.
That was the analogy I was pulling up, but I tried to bite my tongue because I didn't want to get ahead of us.
We're going to talk about that later because I've got thoughts on that. Another thing I want to mention from the season opener is Leon Draisaitl looks like he just does not... It looks like he hasn't had a 6-month break between when we ended off the season in Calgary and when we kicked off on Wednesday against Vancouver. He is an absolute unit.
He has all the tools in the toolbox, but now he's starting to feel confident in himself. And he has, like, last season, the confidence that it's going to gave him is going to be through the roof. You can see that in the interviews. You can see that on the ice. The way he carries himself right now, he knows that he can be a superstar because he thought he could be a superstar before. Now he knows he can, and he's going to carry himself a lot differently this year.
That line of Nuge, Draisaitl, Kassian was absolute gas. Absolute gas.
Yeah, the one goal he scored where he just was at the side of the net right by that face-off circle, and the way he jumped on that loose puck and just put it away. I mean,
nice little play by Kassian on it, too.
A nice goal by Kassian, actually.
Hell of a shot.
Yaremchuk is only 29 goals away from having his hot take become a reality. So.
If we allow Yaremchuk back, because Hernan took over.
It's true, but his hot take is still forever etched in history.
That's true.
If you missed it on last week's Oilers Nation Radio, Tyler Yaremchuk decided that Zach Kassian was going to score 30 goals this year. He got roasted for it on Twitter, which I loved because there's nothing funnier to me than when Tyler gets roasted, whether that's in the comment section on the website, on Twitter, or on the text line at TSN 1260. Go ahead and roast Tyler. He likes it. Taylor Yamchuk is his Twitter account. Go follow him. Bad news, though, from the season opener. Came out yesterday, which was Thursday. Adam Larsson out 6 to 8 weeks with a fractured fibula. He blocked a shot at the end of the first period, hobbled off. The weird part was, though, that he stayed in the game.
Yeah.
His last shift was at about 2 minutes and change in the third period. Listen, if I had a fractured fibula, I would be in the fetal position. I'd be getting Rick. I'd be calling Rick to come pick me up. It'd be kind of like when we were in Vegas, Rick, and you had to like knock on the door and make sure that I was okay.
That's because I couldn't get in.
Well, yeah, but like this would be like a different thing. You'd be
That's
like, "Are you okay in there?"
He wasn't checking on you.
He doesn't give a shit if you're okay or not.
I had my quesadilla in the hallway. I was okay.
Well, yeah, and to your point, Bag Milk, like the guy didn't get off the ice during that shift. He stayed out there. You couldn't tell that there was a part of his body that was now displaced.
He played an extra 2 periods afterwards.
Ridiculous.
And there was no skating issues. There was no pivoting. Like, come on, are you kidding me?
Unbelievable.
6 to 8 weeks.
You got a broken bone in your leg, and you can still skate as well as the rest of the NHL. This is absolutely astonishing to me.
There's something wrong with him.
It went from he was shaking off the shot to, his foot might be fractured to, nope, he's got a straight up just broken bone in his leg. So,
yep.
It's
impressive. It's a broken leg.
Yeah.
We can call it what we want. It's a broken leg.
Allegedly, in my opinion, if he was into BDSM, he would not have a safe word. That's what I'm just saying. I'm saying because he just likes it. You can't go through a 60-minute game with a broken fucking leg and just be normal. That's not normal. I feel like me crying in a ball, that's normal. Adam Larsson, you are a freak, and I respect it. Mm-hmm. Now, the question becomes, obviously, he's out for a month and change. Who is going to fill that role that he was playing with Daryl up on the top pairing? Who slides in there? Is it Ethan Bear?
Well, right now, Gregor, as of 42 minutes ago, said Nurse and Bear are paired together. Clefbaum, Persson, and Russell and Benning.
What do we think about those pairings? Daniel?
Well, I mean, it is what it is. You gotta make some adjustments now, and we gotta find out who sticks. You give Persson or you give Bear the chance to shake it out. You know, when Caleb Jones came up last year, he wasn't the first call up after Clefbaum went down, was he?
I don't remember.
Probably.
Caleb Jones?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think he was.
Oh, was he? Okay.
Been.
So he managed to stick around, and well deserved. as such. So it'll be interesting to see what these guys can do. It's I think it's a lot earlier than we'd hoped, or no, it's a lot earlier than we'd hoped that this was going to have to happen. But I think that there's a player in Persson to take up that spot for the 2 months and afford us the chance to not have to bring up any more of the kids and try them in that spot.
So if he wasn't hurt to start, he would have been in the top 6. So I'm not overly worried about putting him in there. But what those lines that Gregor put out there says to me is Ethan Bear, you're already getting a pat on the back for your first game. He was probably one of the best defensemen for that first game. And now they're going to, instead of giving Persson those minutes and keeping Bear where he was, they're elevating Bear already.
Right.
I mean, obviously your hand's being forced a little bit, but they've made the option. They had 2 options. Put Persson there or put Bear there.
Or Benning, I guess. But Benning's way better suited on the
Yeah, no, you don't do that to Benning. Let Benning play where he is. He's getting roasted by people who they find the 3 or 4 mistakes he makes and destroys them on it, but they ignore the 7 or 8 good things he does.
100%. So looking at Persson, he's set to make his NHL debut if he gets cleared by the doctors this afternoon, which it seems like it's going to happen. Last year with the Vaxo Lakers, in 50 games played, Persson had 6 goals, 25 assists for 31 points. If you don't know this kid's backstory, you should definitely read about it. He was a substitute teacher like 3 years ago, and he somehow worked part-time player into NHL gig. I don't know who else could do that.
Kurt Warner was bagging groceries right before he won a Super Bowl.
Ricky Ray was
delivering
Frito-Lay's chips
driving
before
the truck.
he came up and won a Curry Cup championship.
Oh, man, I had a cousin that used to do that, and that was good living. Go in the back of the truck, grab myself some chips.
My cousins work for Coca-Cola, and they do that all the time.
Those Fritos commercials back when Messier was there.
Oh, yeah.
Those are dope. Though, you know, the
Absolutely.
Russian guy, always floosh.
Messier loves chips. Let's just throw that out there.
Just one. Also calling Connor. That's a thing he likes to do too.
You can't get a hold of him.
Could never get a hold of
I think
him.
he stopped trying though this year, hasn't he?
Yeah, Connor ghosted him.
Yeah, you can't keep that campaign going after it took on a life of its own afterwards because of the injury and everything.
Angry at it.
Yeah, well, that's the internet nowadays.
Oh my god.
Internet likes to get angry at pretty much everything. Just like they
Rage.
do at Tyler Yaremchuk.
What?
Why? Because he's sick. The internet likes to get mad at him,
Oh,
Dan.
okay, I get
Pay
it.
attention.
I thought we were going to do an amazing segue from being angry to.
No.
Do we have a
are minutes
doctor's
away.
note?
Yeah, we do not have a doctor's note. Hernan, we're going to have to write that note down. Then we're going to need Tyler to provide a doctor's note to prove that he was sick. I'm pretty sure he was on with low tide today.
Nope.
No?
Nope.
All right.
Hernan was there.
Hernan.
And
That's
then he
just
raced
taking over
in.
everything.
Uh-oh.
Watch out, Tyler.
Uh-oh.
It's funny though. He calls
Footsteps.
in sick. You know what day it is today?
Go ahead.
Friday. What's that turn into? A 3-day weekend.
Oh, weird. See, he was milking it for the last 3 days.
Yeah,
he was like,
lining it up. On
Set it up, I was
Tuesday, he's
just
like,
saying,
I'm not feeling. It got worse on Wednesday and Thursday and Friday.
I got the black lung pop.
Gonna have to have a long weekend.
I prefer to believe that Hernan is poisoning him, and he's just trying to take over that way, and I like it, and I respect it.
Hernan, I respect that hustle, buddy.
It's a cutthroat industry. You got to do whatever you can.
Just make sure you keep your doses correct, right? Like we don't need to go too far on this one. So back to Larson being added to the LTIR. Our friends at Puckpedia tweeted out some cap implications. I don't understand what these mean, but I'm going to go ahead and read it anyway. So with Adam Larsson injured, the Oilers sent Bear down in a paper transaction on waivers and recalled Bouchard. That increases the Oilers' LTIR pool. Now the Oilers are $90K under the cap, giving them an LTIR pool of $4,076,000. Larson's $4.167 million, less the $90,000 cap space. I don't know what the hell I'm talking about. If you know what I'm talking about, please respond to us on Twitter at ON Radio Podcast or ask the fine folks at Puckpedia.
I was just going to say Puckpedia is now going to respond again, but the important thing is that Bouchard didn't fly from Bakersfield, Bear didn't leave Edmonton, and then they can reverse that transaction.
I think the important part here is that the Oilers actually made a shrewd cap move to open up some extra space.
Fair enough.
I don't know when the last time I saw that was, where you look at a thing, but like, I don't even really understand what's going on here, but the number's bigger, and that's good.
Some people might say when they traded Taylor Hall for Adam Larsson, that was a shrewd cap move, but some people would be wrong.
Some people would call that a stupid move. But
Well, yeah, I think most people would call that a stupid move, unless you're Jay. I'm going to take a shot at you, Jay.
We're still doing this, eh?
Absolutely.
Okay.
You're an Oilers fan. You got to talk
Should we
about
bring
it.
up Puljujärvi too
It is
while we're at it, guys?
2019, and I'm still pissed off at moving Gretzky.
We are going to bring up
If you think
Puljujärvi
this
a
whole
little bit
thing's going
later.
to die anytime soon, you're kidding.
We are going to bring up Puljujarvi later. Apparently, according to Elliotte Friedman, all is quiet on the Puljujarvi
Completely
front.
understandable.
I get it.
Everything's quiet right now.
No, it's not quiet. The service department from our friends at Sherwood Ford the Giant.
Okay.
It's quiet in the seating area, I will say.
Well, that's because it's nice. They create an ambiance. I'm surprised they don't have candles and snacks out there. I think they do have snacks. They have coffee for sure. I've had coffee there. It's delightful.
They have a popcorn machine as well, Bag Milk. You're forgetting the popcorn machine.
Is there anything that Sherwood Ford can't do? Honestly, we were going to call up the folks at Sherwood Ford this morning and fix our internet. Internet went down in Nation HQ. We had no idea what to do, and all I could think of is we should call Sherwood Ford. I'm sure they'll know what to do. Go ahead and follow them on Twitter at Sherwood Ford and on Instagram at Sherwood Forward_the Giant. Daniel, tell us about October again.
We scare hunger. Ooh.
Bring your non-perishables down to Sherwood Ford in beautiful Sherwood Park, Alberta. Let's stock up the food banks, especially heading into the winter season. They need the help. Changing gears a little bit, Elliotte Friedman was on a Calgary radio station this morning talking about Connor. Doing some fine trolling, in my opinion. Basically, he said, in regards to Connor, I think the answer is no. He was asked if Connor is going to be patient with this, and he says, I think the answer is no. He's not patient, but he's also willing to be convinced. I think they've got 2 years, meaning this year and the next, to show him that they're going in the right direction. That is this year and next year. So saith Friedman. Thoughts, gentlemen?
I think it's a great job of stirring the pot.
Why the hell are they even asking that question? Has Stauffer, has Gregor, has Dusty ever asked anybody, so what do you think Monahan, what do you think Goudreau's going to do down in Calgary?
Yes. Well, and that's the thing. It's to try and the redheaded stepchild down
gives a
south.
shit? Talk about your own goddamn team.
Okay, so this question was, I didn't hear this interview on Sportsnet Radio, but him and Jeff Merrick were asked this question on 31 Thoughts on their podcast. And they did it at Sportsnet Grill in Toronto right before the start of the season. So it was on Wednesday. And they had fans there, and the fans could ask questions. And a Toronto fan, his question was, how long until McDavid is a Maple Leaf? And Friedman laughed it off. And then he kind of said, well, the way things are going, it could be 2 years until, if the Oilers don't make real progression, then you could see Connor getting frustrated. And that's how it came across on the podcast. I don't know how it came across on the radio, but
more or less the same.
I'm going to defend Friedman here because he's not trying to stir the pot. He was answering a question to a
the
fan.
radio guy's the idiot for asking that question.
That's what I'm saying. Is that it's the radio guy trying to stir up the pot.
Guys, it's Toronto media.
And that's fine.
Here's
That's
the thing.
Calgary.
In this case, it was in
We're
Calgary.
referring to the Calgary guy, though.
Oh, okay. But
Yeah,
here's
why
the thing.
is Calgary got to come bring it up?
Because McDavid is the best player in the NHL and everybody wants him.
No, it's because they want to deflect from Milan Lucic.
In 06 and 07 and 08, every time somebody was on the Oiler on with an Edmonton guy, nobody asked how fast Crosby wants out of Winnipeg or Pittsburgh.
Well,
I guarantee Crosby will out of Winnipeg. There's no way Crosby wants to go there.
The important thing for me is that I think we all said it this summer was that, you know what, if Connor is getting tired of this shit, he should be, and that's fine. But the thing is that we've got a guy now in Holland that, as we mentioned, he's figuring out cap things, just little cap tweaks here and there to be able to tuck in an extra $90K. There's all kinds of little moves. We brought in a ton of scratch tickets. We haven't even seen Yurcho yet out on the ice, or Yurko, depending on which TSN your guy you're talking to. Dusty Nielsen refuses to use Yurcho.
I respect it.
Yeah. So you can understand where Connor's upset about it, and that's fine. But
this is all hearsay.
It's all just conjecture. It's all just made up
putting words in his
nonsense.
mouth too. Like nobody knows that Holland didn't sit down with him and go, okay, yeah, of course I get it. You are upset. I can tell you what, this is what we're gonna do. And Connor's like, oh, you know what? Now looks at the roster and goes, okay, I feel better about this. You know, we do have the Euros for 1 year, and this year may not exactly be the greatest thing in the world. But if some of them light on fire, and I do my thing, and Leon does his thing, and we have just
Mike Smith
quality goaltending, like 9-10
9-10
goaltending. Who knows? We get in the playoffs, and we know damn well what can happen if you get in the playoffs.
Yep.
So this roster looks a hell of a lot better today than it did this time last year, just because of the youth is 1 year closer. We have a little bit of help when it comes to forwards. I think we still need some more depth there when it comes to youth. But our defense looks incredible.
Yeah, I'm going to jump a little bit on what your hot take was last week, Bag Milk. Tippett seems
What did I say again?
Bear will be the second runner-up in Calder voting.
All right.
Because just speaking about the young defense, like Rick brought up, Tippett seems to be really high on Bear. Now he's basically on the top unit or the top pairing with Nurse. So I think it's one game, I know, but I think there's good things ahead having Bear there, and I think he's going to give him all the opportunity he can. So I know we were talking about McDavid and all that, but it just got me thinking that I kind of agree with you.
Wow, it took a week, but he came around.
Yeah.
Well, Nick, I have an advanced hockey mind. That's what won me $20 from Jason Greger that he's refusing to pay me until he shows up to Nation HQ, which doesn't happen. So if you're listening to Oilersnation Radio right now, what I need you to do is tweet at Jason Greger that he owes me $20.
He will be on your car ride home.
Yeah, absolutely. Call into the Greger show and tell him that he owes me $20.
Like if you take one of your directions home, he's on location at a place.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. I should. Oh, so you're saying I should go shake him down?
I think you should just show up there.
Should the four of us roll in? just
roll
hammering sticks in our hands the whole time? Or
I like this idea.
Snapping.
Yeah,
We're
definitely
definitely
sure.
snapping.
Where's my money, man?
I like this idea of shaking Greger down. But I also want everybody to help me collect. I'm not a very forceful blogger. I'm just a winner. That's all I am.
So we're calling for peer pressure.
That's right.
I'm in.
So I need some peer pressure help getting Greger to pay his debt. Why? Because I said Mike Smith was going to start the opener, and he said I was crazy, and I say no. Now give me my $20.
And guess what? Mike Smith is probably starting tomorrow too.
Let's jump ahead and let's look at tomorrow's game against the Los Angeles Kings. First of all, Todd McLellan coming back to town. I assume he's going to have a fine haircut and a nice suit.
Darker hair too, I'm assuming.
Oh, you think so?
Yeah, I think once that stress of being here goes away, I think some of the hair follicles start
Your
to darken.
hair
again.
doesn't go back to being dark again, does it?
Look at Mac T. He doesn't look like he used to, did he?
Well, that's because Mac T's on vacation right now.
He's in Russia.
That's because he can't get out.
Yeah.
You guys fired me 3 weeks ago. Can I leave? No, you can't.
So looking ahead at tomorrow night's game, obviously, Todd McLellan comes back. It's going to be interesting to see him. I'm actually looking forward to listening to his pre- and post-game press conferences. I always thought he was great to listen to. He's an honest guy. He has good takes. I assume he's going to be asked about his time in Edmonton, which he's probably going to have glowing words about outside of the team success. I'm also hopeful because Mike Smith in game one, as Nick alluded to, played rock solid. He had 31 saves, a .939 save percentage, and I don't know the last time I saw an Oilers goaltender handled the puck the way he does.
Yeah.
Brian Burke, between periods, was talking about in Calgary when Mike Smith was there, they estimated that his puck handling ability saves the defenseman about 100 hits or so per year.
Wow.
Seems right.
Yep.
I don't know. What do you guys think about his puck handling? All I could think about was, God damn, this is sweet. I love watching him clear the zone. Penalty kill. The puck would get dumped into it in his general direction. He would fire it down himself. I'd love that. I know there's going to be a time when I'm going to be screaming my lungs out at the TV because he did something to piss me off. But right now we're friends. Dan?
The best part about Mike Smith for me right now is his confidence. He's confident playing the puck. He's confident telling his guys where the fuck to go instead of, that treading lightly around the defense kind of thing. Him and Draisaitl, even with a second left to go on the clock, were talking about where they wanted to go with the face-off and everything. I think that for a team that has, according to Lucic, not a lot of leadership on it. I mean, he was supposed to be one of the leaders, but anyways, for a team that doesn't have a ton of the guys, especially in the bottom six, where they're just the pure leaders, the Matt Hendrickses of the world. I think it's important that we have that on the back end to kind of stabilize things. And the confidence comes out in his play of playing the puck.
It's just a natural leadership that's in him already. Regardless of where you put him, he's probably going to do the exact same thing everywhere. They did have a meeting today. So during practice, it was both goaltenders and all defensemen that had a chat. No coaches, nobody. And I believe it was Smith and Clefbaum that were kind of running the little party they had going on there. That's a great thing to see for a young team, is an older veteran to come up and just take control and say this, and this, and this. You can discuss it afterwards and come up with your own theories and whatnot, but here, puck comes here, you go there and I'll get it to you. Puck comes here, you do that, and da-da-da, and da-da-da. This takes all the questioning out of it. A lot of people don't like to speak like that because they feel like they're being forceful. They feel like they're telling people what to do. And really, it's not doing that. It's just taking control. And we need that. Whether it be a young team, whether you work somewhere, every organization needs that. And I think this is going to do nothing besides help the team. And yes, we will have some times out there where he decides to skate it up to the blue line by himself for some odd reason. Or he comes out and he's like, I'm going to get there before you, and maybe it doesn't go well. Maybe he's going to trip once or twice. He fell down the first game. But I think in the long run, he's going to be a big, big positive.
I would love to see him go up to the blue line and someone hand him a player stick and he rips home a knuckle puck a la Mighty Ducks 2.
Round 12 of the shootout?
Oh, put Smith in. You got to.
What's the rule nowadays about goalies? Like, are they not allowed to play the puck after the red line?
Can't
or
carry
is it the blue
they
line?
can't carry the puck past the red line. They may have bumped it back, but I know it used to be the center line.
That's the Mike Smith rule. They're afraid of Mike Smith coming up and scoring a goal.
I would
Yeah.
love
Get
to
it.
see a goalie do that.
I get it.
I don't know why they can't use them in a shootout.
Entertain me. That's what I want. Yeah, Mike Smith coming down on you in the shootout, 6'7" goaltender rolling in on you, claps one.
And I say, you know what? I allow it, but they have to use their own gear.
How about Mike Smith's fire? How about Mike Smith's fire there too? Stealing, I don't even remember the players' names. Puck.
Oh, chucking
or
the stick.
Oh,
Yeah,
whip
and
the
then
stick.
took
I
it
love
away.
it.
Yeah.
I love it. That is our area.
And then
Get the fuck out of my way.
And then how about the Canucks social media not picking up on that until like 8 hours after the game is over? They're like, oh,
Well, they
had
caught
some time
like
to
first
think
thing in the.
about it.
They've caught it like first thing in the morning.
Which we were talking about it that night, and
was
Canucks
hilarious.
fans, of course, were
Good.
complaining about the referee.
I want to see
night.
that swagger out of this team. Get
It's
the
funny-
fuck out of here.
It's funny because Ryan Pike, when he previewed the Flames and we asked him about Mike Smith, that was a couple of weeks ago now, he was saying that sometimes Mike Smith's rage, his dad rage, gets in the way, and sometimes it makes him look foolish. But in this case, I loved it.
It was amazing. The crowd celebrating Cassian's goal, and he's still trying to pick up the stick and hurl
Yeah,
it
he's
out
still
of the
going
way.
to like shoot it once with a backhand and kind of missed it. He's like, oh fuck that, just pick it up and I'll whip it instead.
Yeah.
Back to tomorrow's game, the LA Kings. What do you expect from them this year? Last year, they had a garbage season. They haven't made many changes. I'm looking at the roster right now. They've got an aging roster.
Well,
Nicholas?
Kovalchuk went from not playing the last half of the season or whatever it was to apparently being their second line left winger. Okay.
Maybe.
Well, we don't know why he wasn't playing last year though.
I'll say this. A team that has Anze Kopitar as their top center, Drew Doughty, and John Quick, you're going to be in games.
That's not Anze Kopitar and John Quick and the Doughty that we remember though. These are all a little bit older now. Quick is getting up there,
Anze
man.
Kopitar won the Selke Trophy a few years ago with like 92 points. Kopitar's a good player.
Still
Kopitar's
a
a good
couple
player.
years, man.
Bag Milk
Doughty's
has,
not even 30 yet.
No, and that's fair. But Doughty still is. He's going to plateau too. You're going to watch Erik Karlsson do the exact same thing.
I'm not going to. Sorry, Dan, but
okay.
I'll just say that the Kings. I'm not saying are going to be a good team this year. I'm just saying when you play a team that has those three guys on it, they can steal a game from you. Like John Quick can steal a game. Kopitar can turn it on. Doughty can shut down your top guy or try to
No,
at
he
least do
can't.
his best job, or your second best guy at
Maybe
least.
that though. Yeah, I'll give you that second one. But that
yeah.
first one, no.
Not a lot of guys can shut down McDavid for sure. But the Oilers are going to win tomorrow. But it's not going to be a cakewalk for sure.
No.
Are you an LA King truther?
I'm not. I just think Anze
I think
Kopitar
Nick
is.
sounds he's a Kings fan.
I think
He's a Kings
Anze Kopitar. Oh, no, I got our gifts
K.
all set up.
Okay, now so
I don't-
Bag Milk
no,
has.
I don't know who these people are. in the
Bag
bottom
Milk
six.
has Gregor's lines right
you're
now
about
in
to
the,
ask me
in
who
the
those people
GDB.
are.
Can you tell me who Bjornfoot is? Their second or their top pairing defenseman? I've never heard of him.
These
Thomas?
lines courtesy of our friends at dailyfaceoff.com.
Yes.
Yeah, Bjornfoot is with Drew Doughty, Martinez, and Roy. Hutton and Walker rounded the defensive pairings.
What
and it looks
happened to Ledoux? Is he hurt or something? Or did they trade him?
Leduc got a nice outlet mall recently, and
Ledoux. Okay.
it's very nice. My
thought-
dad told me that there's some deals to be found there. It depends on what you're looking at.
I thought Paul Ledoux was a referee.
No, they had a Ledoux that was supposed to be one of their young defensemen. Anyway, I'm saying the Kings again. I'm not a truther. I got my gifts lined up to hang the L on them.
Who's Armadillo on the fourth
He looks
line
great.
in the center?
My
He's from
point is that
Arizona. He's from
Anze
Arizona. Don't worry
Kopitar is
about him.
nowadays it seems he's underrated. In this room, he seems to be underrated.
Nice to see Cam
No,
Lewis getting a job in the fourth line.
That
I just
was
think
huge,
he's
eh?
beyond his time. I think he's like he was great, but I think he's beyond it. He doesn't have any help out there.
I can't do this. I can't.
Yeah, his time is he's on the back end of his career.
We now go to the King's office of fandom here. Nick is going to bring up some stats from Anze Kopitar.
He had 61 points in 72 games last year.
That's it.
Is this the Kings? Is this the Kings preview episode? I thought we were doing these in the
all
off season.
All I'm saying is Kopitar. Anyway, top line center. I'll sit here and take it, man. I don't care. I'm just saying the Oilers are going to win tomorrow. The Kings are not going to be a good team. The Oilers will finish ahead of them this year. But when you have Kopitar on your team, you have Drew Doughty and John Quick, they can steal you a win.
But I also see Cam Lewis as the fourth line
That's
right winger,
true.
which is probably like I played hockey with Cam and he scores on his own net. So maybe he is.
They kick him out of Ireland already?
Yes.
Well, that
yep.
might have been a cover. It might have been a cover so that when he
they
arrives
didn't
in
want us to
Edmonton.
make fun of him.
Yeah.
He's going to play for the Kings, and he's like, I'll say I'm going to Ireland instead.
92 points 2 years ago is what Kopitar had.
Question
have
for
3
the
years ago?
Kings.
92 points.
What do you have
Question
3
for the
years
Kings
ago?
done?
What about 3 years ago? 50.
Okay. But
Question for the Kings fan in the room.
52.
And then
Question for the
60.
Kings fan in the room. Is this their first game of the season?
Yes.
Okay. Well, the Kings
okay.
fan in the room
Yeah.
answered that one.
I'm writing the GDB tomorrow. I know what's going on.
Why
Fair
is that
enough.
relevant?
I'm just curious because that lineup is horrendous. I thought they thought maybe it was still
I'm
the
telling you
preseason.
they're a bad team, but Kopitar's not a bad player, is what I'm saying.
So you're saying that they might win 3 or 4 games this year?
Maybe even 5 if those guys steal the games for them like I think they can.
What I'm saying is that we all need to relax
Okay.
and perhaps order something delicious
Ah.
from our friends at skipthedishes.ca. I'm hungry. I know Hernan's over there. He's hungry. He's ready to push the button.
He's been working hard all day.
He's been working hard all day, filling in for Tyler and stealing Tyler's jobs. Why? Because Taylor Yamchuk is sick and or quote unquote sick, and he's taking a 3-day weekend. He's probably going somewhere to play intramural sports, and he didn't want to tell the bosses about it. He's doing that thing where he's throwing that bone at the other bones or whatever that game that he was talking about is. I don't know what Tyler's up to, but there is no way I believe that he's actually sick. 0 chance. If he is sick, however, I do recommend going to skipthedishes.ca, maybe ordering a nice soup. Maybe something to get you hydrated. Maybe some vegetables, Tyler. Mix in a vegetable into your diet.
So maybe some Mary Brown's fried chicken.
Perhaps. Maybe a Mary Brown's pop-in at your place.
Ooh.
Tyler, skipthedishes.ca. It's going to help you feel better if you are, in fact, sick, which I personally don't believe.
Someone's trying to break into the room.
Head on over to skipthedishes.ca. Feed yourself because cooking is overrated. Hernan, push the button.
You're listening to Oilers Nation Radio, a member of the Nation Network of Podcasts.
I want to talk about Milan Lucic's Calgary debut last night. Lucic went full Lucic. He did the thing that he does every single year or with a new team or whatever. He came out motivated, exciting Flames fans that he's not going to be completely useless by the time December rolls around. 17 minutes in penalties. 0 shots on goal, -1 and 2 hits. He played .838 last night.
That's a 10-5-2 though, right? That's
Yeah,
just
all
one- that's just
those
one
penalties
thing.
were on that
And
one play.
That's what you want out of Luch. Like I know that hit was, dude turned at the very end, and
Zarnik set himself up for that one.
Look, I'm an old school guy, so I put a little bit more of the onus on the player there to not put yourself in that
the
position.
victim, quote unquote.
Yeah.
Yes.
Don't put yourself
Protect
in that
yourself,
position.
absolutely.
Anyways, that's the Lucic you want to see. Lucic grabbed the guy, fed him a couple. I'm guessing that dude did not want to do anything back to him. And
Zadorov, he was looking at the referee like a lost little puppy. It was the weirdest thing I've ever seen. And he didn't even see Milan Lucic's fist coming at his face.
Yeah, there's a sucker punch in there.
It was weird.
Yeah, so I mean, whatever. That's
Also-
Lucic. That is the guy you want. That's
Also,
the guy you want.
as a hockey fight guy, take off your fucking glove, Lucic. Jesus Christ.
But he knows damn well. He drops him into a second, but he knows it's the glove on punch to try and get the fight going.
That's
But
why he got the
He got his
instigator
10-5-2 as you. I mean, I hate the instigator, but whatever. That's the way it goes. That's Lucic you want.
It's the Lucic that he literally, it's what he does, like Bag Milk said.
But he goes
Started
away.
in LA, he had a fight. Started in Edmonton, he had a fight.
But
Tonight,
he goes
had a fight.
away. I remember playing LA last year, and someone like it wasn't a Carter slew-footed Connor or something like that, and Lucic didn't do a goddamn thing about it.
Well, that's what I want to talk about because last night after all this shenanigans went down, I was checking in on Flames fans. I was checking in on our friends at flamesnation.ca, and they were excited about Lucic coming in and defending a guy because they haven't had a player like that on their roster in some time.
Yeah, because Kachuk doesn't have the balls to do it.
Well, that's very true. But what I thought was interesting is that they were like, yes, Lucic, this is what we need from you, buddy. And all I could think of was, boy, are you going to be disappointed in game 2 and 3 through 82? Because game 1, he always comes out shot out of a cannon.
You looked good last year. I was stoked.
We're in a time machine right now. We can go back and look at ourselves back in 2016. This is exactly how we felt.
I was jacked up last year when he scored.
England. He fought England for looking at Connor the wrong way. And we were like,
damn
yes, Luch. The chance just started that day.
Well, the difference is he had like 60 points that year. So he was actually effective that season.
Yeah. Yeah, and he'll be more effective than he was in our last season with him.
Yeah,
but
he's not that.
but
But
it's
like
just
I also remember
a hate
last year
machine.
we were doing our season launch brunch party. Lucic scored in game 1 and we were all excited about it. We thought that he was going to have a different year. And then by the end of the season, we are nuts deep in a Lucic goal draft.
4.
Cam Lewis gamed
4. Was it 4?
for the total.
Yeah.
I think
he
so.
had
Yeah, because
6
Cam
goals
had
last
3.
year. Yeah,
well,
Cam
for
won
our
with
goal
4.
draft, he
Cam
won
won
with
with
4,
4.
and I had 1.
Yeah, exactly.
So
So
5
yeah,
total. Of us.
and then the first game. So 6 goals he scored last year.
Yes.
That's $1 million a goddamn goal.
It's a good gig if you can get it. So in 79 games last year with the Oilers, he had 6 goals, 14 assists for 20 points. I mean, I can't see how 31-year-old Milan Lucic is going to be much better than 30, 29, 28-year-old Lucic, though he did have 50 points in
50
his
points.
first
I was
year.
wrong. 50, not 60. Yeah.
Well, that's because you're paying too much attention to the Kings. I
Man,
can't expect you
I
to
just-
remember how the
He's
Oilers
just
did.
drawing their emblem right now on the table. I don't know what's going on.
It's weird. He's carved it in his arm.
But the
like-
old one with like the purple.
Oh yeah, no. I
and-
meant the Wayne Gretzky one, the black and silver.
Oh,
That's-
see, I like
that's
the
dope.
purple and gold one.
Oh, Marcel Dion.
So my question is, do you feel bad for
Chevy
Flames
logo.
fans in the sense that they don't know what's coming, or are you going to enjoy the ride
sorry.
just like I am?
Do we what for Calgary Flames fans?
I'm asking.
Do we feel sorry for Calgary Flames fans?
Do you feel sorry that they
No.
don't know what's coming?
It's a fascinating study in like pain and suffering because we know the inevitable fall is coming. It's just when does it happen? You know, when do the rage? I mean, the rage started even last night when they put him on the ice
They put
instead
him
of Johnny
out there
Gaudreau.
instead of Gaudreau with no goalie. Your goalie comes off the ice and
But-
your coach taps Luch.
But maybe
Yeah,
they're
get
trying
out there.
They're trying
and
to get.
Gaudreau just looks. You can only imagine Gaudreau's just looking at his coach going,
You got to believe that they were trying to
really?
get his goal totals up, though, right? They're trying to help his numbers so that
get that
the
conditional
trade works
third-round
out.
pick.
Yeah, exactly, right.
Well, I just assumed that they knew Lucic scored in the first game last year, so they were trying to repeat a little bit of history. Since he already had the fight, he's like, well, he might as well go out and score that one goal he's going to get this year.
Oh boy. Yeah, no, it's like watching an accident in slow motion. You know it's going to happen. It's just a matter of time.
Man,
it is
you're
weird, though.
s-
It's got to be weird for Flame fans to be doing... Because I heard the Luch chant a couple times in the preseason. It's got to be kind of similar to Oilers fans cheering for Mike Smith right now. Because I found it weird as I was doing the Twitter on Saturday or Wednesday night being like, fuck yeah, Mike Smith. Do this for us, buddy.
The difference is Mike Smith was their best player in the playoffs last year.
Yes, he was.
And Lucic hasn't been our best player ever.
I don't
So-
think of Mike Smith as a Flame, anyways. I think of him as a Coyote, honestly.
And Mike Smith's a hell of a lot closer to being good than
More of a
Luch.
Dallas Star to me.
Dallas Star, maybe a Tampa Bay Lightning.
Yeah, that was brief, eh?
Yeah.
So
when
nobody
they-
cares about Lucic?
when they
Nobody?
Ben
Oh,
Bishop.
love. I whatever.
I'm gonna sit and bask.
If he would have come back and played this year and would have scored, that arena would have chanted Luch. Like
course.
we were ready to. We've always been ready to re-embrace him as a good, solid player. It's just it hasn't happened. And it's frustrating that he's making the money he's making, and it's not his fault. It's not our fault, but it's like we can't help but be frustrated.
Well, we were
over that.
shitting on Chiarelli for the contract, and I know it sounded like we were shitting on Luch the whole time, but they were shitting on the contract. And then we got behind Luch. Yeah. And then if Luch didn't do something like if Connor got knocked around and he didn't look at anybody and he didn't back anybody up, he didn't get out there and do anything physical, then yes, we got on Luch. Because if you can't score, fine, whatever, we get it. And yeah, we can't change your contract, but go out there and earn your fucking stripes in a different way. Yeah. And he didn't do that either.
It was like right after the playoff run and we signed Horkoff to that deal, and everyone was pissed because they felt it was an overpayment. And it wasn't because Horkoff was a bad player, even like or effective. It was just that his contract didn't match the player he was. And it seems we always have a player like that on the roster at some point.
You can never be mad at a guy for getting his.
No, man, I'd sign that. I'd sprint to the fucking fax machine.
It's the person that put the ink to the paper first of all.
The guy who offered it.
Or the fact that like last year that Bob Nicholson wasn't in the office smacking the pen out of Chiarelli's hand when he was trying to sign Koskinen into that deal.
And now that's our new Lucic.
We'll never know how that contract
We
went
won't,
down.
but it should have never happened no matter what.
You're
Doesn't-
right, but
like,
you can't-
either way.
we'll never know whether or not Chiarelli did it hidden. Well, he locked
true.
himself in the office, said, "Hey, here, sign this, sign this, sign this," or if 19 of the guys in suits sat around a table and said, "Yes, that contract's
That's
dope, give it to him."
Fucking nightmare for
Whatever it is, we'll never know. So I don't even look into it anymore.
To go back to your question though, Bag Milk, I do as a hockey fights guy, I do love Lucic because he does.
Somebody's
give
gotta
us
throw
page
him.
views.
Although he only got, 3 fights last year?
He did,
Yeah,
and last night was hardly a fight.
Used to get
no.
page views.
No. Anytime his name shows up in any video I post, the views come in.
Do you
People
post
love him.
videos of him missing goals and
I do.
put it?
I do. And I just link him to old fights of his. It's it's a nice little catch and release trick.
Since we're talking about Milan Lucic, I feel like it's only fair to do the look at first impressions of James Neal, since he was obviously the return in that trade. What were your thoughts on James Neal's first game as an Oiler? He had 14 minutes and 11 seconds of total ice time, 102 on the power play. He had 2 shots on net, 4 hits, and 1 takeaway.
That initial hit right off the bat I was jacked up.
Won somebody a $25 gift card at the brew house.
Yes, it did. We had a little coaster challenge, and that was one of the questions. Who threw the first hit for the Edmonton Oilers this year? But I mean, you know what? He played a game that wasn't a $6 million man game, but it was fine.
Again,
it wasn't.
We can't judge him on because he's not going to be able to do the $6 million. So we
course.
got to we'll subtract that out of there and go, okay, you know what, Neal, this is what we kind of expect out of you. We'll have a bit of a zone for him. If he stays in that, then we're going to be fine.
Yep.
I thought it was interesting that just watching them with Lucic in mind, James Neal's not a great skater. I don't think anybody would say that he is at this point. However, the difference in hands is night and day. Well, watching him make a play compared to what Milan Lucic can do, like he's handling a live grenade, is night and day to me.
And he's playing with Nuge tomorrow, right?
Looks like he's playing with Nuge tomorrow.
So they seem to have a lot of chemistry in the preseason, so it might be better that he's back playing with Nuge than playing with Connor, which sounds crazy to say, but if you have chemistry with one guy, it's best not to break that up.
Well, Connor did say after the game too, he was like, well, I was playing with Nygaard and Neal, and we hadn't really played together at all in the preseason, so it was tough. Whereas him and Draisaitl, they know where each other is going to be always, so it makes sense to have those two. Pretty close, kind of, yeah. So I am curious to see how it looks like Nygaard and Neal are going to play with Nuge tomorrow. I'm curious to see how that goes because, like Nick said, they did have a little bit of chemistry in the preseason, and I'm hoping they can build on it.
See, I don't think his speed's gonna be that big of a deal because you have Nygaard and you have Nuge out there. Those guys are fast. Those guys take the puck in. They're the first 2 in, and then Neal comes in, finds that soft spot in the slot, and you just start ripping them.
Well, that's what I was going to say too. Is it'll be interesting to see because it seems like we're loading up the first power play with Nuge, Draisaitl, and McDavid with who was it, Clefbaum, and then there's another forward on the back end. I can't think of him on the top of my head.
Chason
might have been. Yeah, that sounds right.
Chason had a tap in from Nuge that he just kind of healed it on Wednesday. Frustrated me. Beautiful pass by Nuge. I love you, buddy.
But it'll be interesting to see if Neal kind of becomes the focus point of the second power play unit.
Well, I still think that Ethan should get a shot at the first power play, but I think what they want to do is probably give him like 5-10 games to get his feet wet and whatnot, and then we'll sprinkle that in there too.
Absolutely.
But yeah, it's going to be a right-handed shot that's going to be the focal point on that second one. But when you have the right-handed shot on his off wing, so the left guy is going to be on his off, and there's your one-timers going back and forth, that type of. And he was really good in the middle there too, in the bumper roll. Yep. He's got the hands where he can tip something, one of those crazy little shots from Clefbaum from the point. He can get in there and do that. And you look at guys like Leon and Connor trying to fucking fire passes in there as well. He can redirect everything.
I like it. Since we're comparing players, I want to stick with that line of thinking. Today, Ron McLean, and again, I'm going to preface this by saying this was Toronto radio. Ron McLean was asked how Austin Matthews compares to Connor McDavid at this point, and if they're closing the gap. Ron McLean says that Matthews would be McDavid's 1A, and I'm curious on everybody's take on it. My take, Matthews isn't better than Sid. He's not better than an Ovi, so I don't know why they're comparing him to Connor.
And that's just the old guys. There's a couple of young guys. I don't
he's
put
not
him
better than Leon right now.
He's not better than Nate.
Yeah.
This is the stupidest fucking opinion to have. And
I was waiting for this because Nick was rattled about it all day. Go ahead.
You're in Toronto. You got to talk to them.
Rick, how many games has Austin Matthews played in his career?
213.
How many points does he have?
207.
He's not even a fucking point-a-game player.
This is exactly what they want. This is exactly what they want.
Sasha Barkov, Alexander Barkov is a better player.
How many points did Anas Kopitar have last year?
Well, he had 92 points 2 years ago, and that's more than Austin Matthews has ever had.
Tyler Toffoli? Is Tyler Toffoli better than Austin Matthews?
No, I won't go that far.
Whoa!
Barkov had 96 points last year with 100 takeaways.
Okay, but Barkov is horribly underrated.
Yes.
1,000%.
Riley was a good Ryan O'Reilly was a good player last year, but Barkov should have won that Selke
Loves
trophy.
a cruller as well.
But like,
What?
If you know, you know. Anyway, go ahead.
You know.
I don't know. Dan. Okay,
Rick
yeah.
Rick
I got
understands.
you.
Eric's
I
got
read
it.
you, I read
But
you.
no, like it's just I get what people want. They like Toronto fans want to have that guy. And I'll say this too. Austin Matthews has been the best 5-on-5 goal scorer for the past 3 seasons. That's really hard to do. He is a sniper. He's an elite sniper. But he's
doesn't make you a great player, all around player.
Absolutely. And that's like to say that he's the 1A, which is that implying that Connor's then the 1B?
Yeah, that was a weird
No,
kind
I
of
think
term
they're going
to use,
1
but-
and 1A. Just for the record, I know.
But you always make the better player the 1A.
Well, no, because
I see-
one
okay, I see what you're
is
saying.
one.
I see what
One
you're
is
saying.
one.
I see
One
what
A.
you're
Okay, so people always get that mixed up, and I just
see
don't
what
think
you're
it's like
Yeah.
could care less and couldn't care less. Well,
Yeah,
it's
absolutely.
couldn't care less, but people say could care less all the damn time.
I could care less.
It's just like I get whether
We got to laugh at Hernan for that.
As long
one,
as
so it's
Hernan's
good.
laughing, that's all I care about.
Yeah.
There you go.
I don't know. I just it's like
No, but this is exactly what they want from outside of Toronto is to have people outraged.
Dude, I
He's
swear to
just-
God, they are only just trying to make the people in Toronto happy.
Of course they are. He's pandering.
They don't
He's-
even give a
Ron,
shit what
Ron
we
gets what he's
hear.
doing. Ron's been doing this business forever. He's just playing to the listeners' fan base, being like, "Yeah, fuck yeah, Ron. Austin is really good."
He did call Leon the Messier.
He did say, yeah. So there's a little bit more in that clip where he said that he believes that Matthews and McDavid is like in the same church, is the term that he used, of Leon or of Gretzky and Lemieux.
Okay, but those two guys weren't close at all. So that might be an okay analogy if you're looking at points.
The difference there, I think, was the man games lost for Lemieux.
Yeah, Lemieux's
and they're-
like second
and that's,
all-time in
and that's the
points.
caveat that they're trying to use with
You
Matthews in
can't
Toronto.
guarantee he would have scored at that when he wasn't.
Of course
when he
you
was
can't.
healthy. And I know he probably
And
would have
they're doing the
anyways.
exact
Nonetheless,
same thing with
We're just
Matthews,
looking
though.
at points right now. The gap between Gretzky and Lemieux might be equal to the gap between McDavid and
Oh,
Matthews.
no.
Points wise,
no.
points wise, yeah.
Oh,
No. Lemieux was
Lemieux was great, but he
did
was
Lemieux
no Gretzky.
play for the Kings ever?
Lemieux was great.
just
but he
checking.
Gretzky did.
Lemieux was great, but he was no Gretzky.
No, and I'm not saying that, but like Lemieux is second all time in points per game. Like
Okay.
all time.
But points per game starting to get there, like the old but he was hurt.
I love
Health
when you guys
matters.
Oh,
argue.
but he was hurt.
Yeah, the best
Health
ability
matters.
is availability.
Yes.
So if Matthews
Accountability.
did you say that caveat in there that like he hasn't quite played
Yeah,
full-
the Sportsnet threw out. They were like, "Well, he hasn't played a full season in the last 2 years, or else we'd probably be talking about him in the same breath as
but like
McDavid."
if you're never healthy, then you're never part of that conversation.
Also, it wasn't even that he was unhealthy last year. Bag Milk pointed it out. He was suspended.
McDavid you're talking about.
No, Matthews.
Oh,
Matthews was suspended, correct?
no, McDavid got suspended
McDavid
for
got
2 games.
suspended.
Oh, right, yeah, and still
He also had
outscored.
that plague as well for a couple of games.
And even a plague can't stop him.
No, nothing can stop him. I want to give a shout out real quick to Deesh on Twitter, who tagged me in an article from TSN that just got posted, where Milan Lucic said that he doesn't know, for whatever reason, he wasn't able to reproduce the same style of play that he was known for in Boston in his time in Edmonton, but that may have changed in one game in Calgary. The day after the Calgary Flames opening night loss to the Avalanche, Lucic explains how, on a personal note, he felt like he had the spark, emotion, and energy back.
From punching a guy in the face with his glove on.
I love that.
What a
Everything about that makes me happy.
Lucic hasn't played in Boston since 2015, where he had 44 points.
He plays better on the microphone than he does with his hockey stick right now.
Yeah.
Like if anyone is actually believing the things he says right now, like he's gonna be, well, I don't know what it is. I don't know what the change is, guys. But one game in, I'm pretty sure I'm back to the guy from Boston.
I get it from his side of things. Like he's trying to put a positive spin on things.
You got
the Flames lost to the guys that eliminated them from the playoffs
But
last
would you
year. in
mention
5
yourself
games.
in the breath of like when you were at your best?
No, what he should have said is when he was an LA King for one season, actually, because he had 55 points and 20 goals.
Yeah.
Maybe he forgets.
And
that.
just say, you know what, I'm feeling
could you
good. It's kind
forget?
of like that first game with it. Well, I guess you can't say the Oilers, but this is that first game in Edmonton when it was whatever, and it led to a 60-point season.
He could say that he wanted to get back to his first season in Edmonton.
I see what you were doing there,
Which
Nick,
is-
and I forget. I
He had a
realize it
decent
now.
year. He had a decent year that year.
Yeah, he had a decent year. 23 goals, 27 assists, 50 points.
Yeah, so 50 points. And if you try and pump your tires to that, that's fine. But don't try and tell him you're at your best.
Listen. If there's a fan base he can sell it to, it's the Calgary Flames fan base. So he's selling some goods, and they're picking him up right now.
If he put a maple leaf on his chest, do you know how The tire pumping would be going on.
He'd be
reviled.
he'd be Wendell Clark.
They'd name a road after him after that fight.
No, he'd be their new Wendell Clark.
Ooh. Are you trying to say that Wendell Clark was not a good player?
Yeah, well, I'll take that.
Wow. Okay.
I'll say that.
Okay.
You know what I'll say? That we should all order something delicious from our friends at Skip the Dishes.
Agreed. These plugs are way, way too hunger inducing.
I am very hungry. And thanks to our friends at Skip the Dishes, I don't have to leave. I don't have to put pants on. I can just order whatever I want, and they will bring it to my door.
Talk to you about that bag milk.
At least put the towel around your waist.
It's been an issue at the office for
I
the whole week.
refuse to wear the towel. I refuse to groom.
This is actually not a podcast. This is an intervention.
What I
Unfurl
will
the
do-
banner, please.
What I will do is I will order myself 20 nugs. Skip the Dishes. Maybe some JBCs.
I might pick up some spicy nugs on the way home.
Can
Sometimes
somebody
you
else
gotta.
go out and get the food though, because bag milk, no pants.
But again, to my friends at Skip the Dishes, this is my plea to you. This is me begging you. Use your influence to get Arby's on Skip the Dishes.
Please.
We need them.
They're
We
dropping
need
like
them.
flies.
They are my white rhino. They're disappearing. And I don't know what to do about it other than to reach out to you on this podcast, skipthedishes.ca,
I'm terrified.
and help Arby's. Help them. And help me get beef and cheddars without putting pants on.
You want the meats.
I got the meats.
I wish
I'm
I had
thinking
the meats.
Arby's. All right, we got a couple of minutes left in today's podcast. So what I wanted to talk about is former friend,
Oh,
you want to call him that, I guess, Griffin Reinhart, cut from his PTO with the Belleville Senators. And that's right, I said PTO.
they have those in the AHL.
Could that be
Holy shit.
arguably one of the worst trades in NHL history? And
No.
I don't want to take a shot at Griffin.
No.
I mean, he's already got enough going on his own. Could that be one of the worst trades in the modern era then? How's it?
If it's
Yeah.
maybe one of,
I was gonna
it gives
say-
you but I mean, Naslund
I
was.
was
Nasland's
going to
still
bring up the
way-
Naslund trade. Yeah,
That's horrendous.
yeah.
And let's not forget that one dark day in August back in the late 80s. I don't care what the return was. That was a horrendous trade.
I think Eric Lindros's trade was pretty bad.
Okay, let's go. Let's go
they
the
got
modern
Peter
era.
Forsberg.
Yeah, I
No,
don't
I'm
think-
saying that the return.
Okay.
Philly gave up way too much for a guy that was good.
He was great. Let's not argue.
Yeah,
He was
Lindros
great.
won a Hart Trophy. Like he
He
got
was
them to a Stanley Cup
dominant.
final.
He was
They
dominant.
gave Quebec, Colorado a Stanley Cup championship.
Well, I don't know. I
could argue
think
they gave him,
I could argue
framework of a
Montreal
team.
did as well.
hey, that goaltender was a
Yeah,
pretty big
fair
part
enough.
of that too.
Fair enough. But hell of a trade there. But yeah, back to your point, Bag Milk. It still remains to be seen because you got to see what Eriksson Ek, who's the player we were allegedly going to take anyways, or a Matt Barzal does with the rest of their career. But they're not getting cut from their PTOs with an AHL team. So
It's
pretty tough fall from grace for a guy that was a hell of an oil king.
Yep. 4th overall pick in 2012. The interesting thing is here we are 4 years removed from that trade. And Matthew Barzal, we already know what he's doing. I don't remember who.
We weren't going to take him anyways.
Yeah, which is a problem in itself.
Eriksson Ek.
I don't remember who the
At least they
Islanders
were
took with that
honest.
second pick.
Beliveau?
No, the who they took with their second rounder that was also part of the Griffin Reinhart.
Wasn't it
trade.
Beliveau or whatever from
I have no
plays
idea.
on the line?
You're just
Something
saying
like
names
that.
to me. But anyway,
yeah,
my
yeah.
point is going from being the acquisition at that price tag to 4 years later not even being able to stick in the AHL, that is like a wild sequence for Griffin Reinhart.
You know what's really weird is that team that he played on had a lot of good players, and 2 are left.
Well,
who are we talking
One
about?
is LB.
Right?
He's out in Winnipeg.
Yeah.
And Mark Pysyk out in Florida, who is a healthy scratch.
Who's
Game
apparently
one.
on the trade block right
But
now.
we're talking, what's the little centerman? I just forgot his name.
Lazar?
Yeah, Lazar. And you're looking at Henrik Samuelsson, and you're looking at Griff. All these guys came in with so much hype,
Yep.
and they are all gone.
It speaks to the fact that in junior hockey and in hockey in general, when you have a team that's like a bunch of superstars, like they talked about that this year with the NHL draft, where all those
American
players
team.
came from the American team, and it was like, do you want to grab those guys because was one of them propping the other ones up, kind of thing.
That's why I'm not horribly upset that they went with Broberg over Caulfield.
Well, and to be a truly dominant team in junior hockey and in youth hockey, it's the team in general, right? It's the compilation and the depth, and so it speaks to that. I think that Reinhart just didn't live up to that 4th overall.
But he was
pick
an
at
old school.
all.
He was an old school player at the end of that type of era. Who?
But
He's an analog boy in a digital world, you know?
There you go. That's like the perfect way of putting it.
there was something that teams kept seeing something in this guy though, because Vegas took him in the expansion draft. So
Yeah.
there's something that
Thank you.
Yeah, but that was like, I mean, I would want to see who else were the options.
Jujar was the other real option.
Well, yeah, a
dude.
guy that's not getting cut from a PTO in the AHL. So I'm just,
What is 2 years after? But
you know, the Islanders took him where they took him. We traded for him, ill-advised or not, and then Vegas took him. So there's something there that GMs and teams seem
I
to
think
like.
he has the hockey smarts. He just
Yeah.
doesn't have the boots.
Also, we can't forget the fact that he did go to an expansion team, a team that would have had to try and cobble together a AHL
Okay, but
team.
we also
even.
know that team ended up in the fucking finals.
No, and
too,
I'm not.
so-
I'm not talking about the NHL team level. I'm talking about the fact that he went to the AHL and they were still trying to scrape that together, right? Because they had to bring in guys on.
He was a
above
healthy
and
scratch
beyond
a lot
there,
that year
and he
as
was a
well.
healthy scratch in Chicago as
Yeah,
well.
no,
So
it's been a really weird.
it's tough.
Weird
It's tough.
crap.
to
But I
watch.
mean, to be fair, man, if I had talked to him this summer, I would have been like, dude, do not go sign a PTO.
Go to Europe.
Go to Europe, live the life. It's more relaxed. It's a different game. Like, dude, go over there.
Man,
Don't
chill.
get off the fucking buses. The
Chill
NHL.
for a couple years in Switzerland and the beautiful scenery and
Dude,
tour around Europe
That's the
and
type
make a
of
good
guy
living.
he is, though. He's a laid back guy. He would love living life over there. I can
can't-
see why the AHL. He does not match the AHL lifestyle.
but it can't be easy being a guy.
No,
that,
God, no, you're-
went
you
from
just-
the promise to the
And you're giving
to
up on your
nothing.
quote unquote
Yeah.
dream.
Well, we heard that when we interviewed Rob Schremp a couple of months ago,
You're
right?
right.
He
You're right.
he was a very highly touted prospect. It just did not work.
and his
It was hard to give it up.
A lot more. His ego is bigger too, right? So it'd be harder for him.
It's
right?
hard to walk away, man.
Oh,
like
dude.
when you've been told and you've been sold on this dream, and a team went out and spent a really expensive draft pick. At the end of the day, the Islanders, that was an expensive draft pick, even if they didn't trade it to the Oilers for a pot of gold. But I don't know. It's tough to say looking at it. Like you said, Beg Milk. We're not shitting on Reinhart here. It's not his fault.
Nick is.
Well, yeah, Nick did a little bit.
Did I?
Well, he was an oil king, not a king.
All LA Kings fans hate Griffin though. So
Yeah, that's true. Everybody knows that. So I think the moral of the story here for Griffin Reinhardt is go enjoy Europe, my man.
yeah, dude,
Go enjoy. Have fun. Meet a nice Swiss girl.
he'll love life over there.
Don't be a
Absolutely.
coach in the KHL, because God damn it, that bar is low.
They are cutthroat, man. Mac T fired after 8 games.
8 games,
Anyway,
but yeah, everything I've read is like they go through 2 or 3 coaches a year. Like this was
Oh yeah,
this is nothing new.
the league doesn't give a shit.
But I thought
about
he'd
you.
kind of know that going in.
You'd hope so.
Now the poor
just
guy
collect
can't.
your rubles, you know?
He still has. I think Mac T still has some cash left over from the 80s, and the 90s,
And he's got
and the
a
2000s.
some fresh pocket full of rubles from his 8 games in
There you
Russia.
go.
I want to close out this week's episode of Oilers Nation Radio by telling you to go to nationgear.ca and buy yourself tickets to the season launch party. Everything you need to know is there. Producer Hernan is sending us a note.
Oh,
the Oilers
Jesus.
have recalled defenseman Ethan Bear and William Lageson from the Bakersfield Condors. Tyler.
See you, Tyler.
Tyler would
Tyler,
never
you
have
are-
had
Tyler.
that.
No, Tyler would have told us to get fucked. Meanwhile, Hernan's over there providing.
We knew Bear
accurate
was coming
information.
back up. Lageson's actually that's interesting.
He'd be screaming at us because we keep mentioning the Kings still.
The interesting thing about it is Lageson being recalled. It
They
makes
don't-
sense. He deserves a chance. But like Brandon Manning's still here.
That's what
They
I was
don't
just
want
gonna
Manning
say,
to
yeah.
play.
Yeah,
Manning
yeah.
is not playing.
No, and I get that. Like I don't want him to play either. However, what is he doing here?
They're calling him up just in case.
Like,
yeah,
Just in case for tomorrow.
There's some cap
Unless this is
implications.
okay. First of all, yeah, talk to Puckpedia first. Maybe this is some sort of mathematical thing that we have no fucking idea about.
Probably.
Power moves.
I'm gonna check Puckpedia just as you guys are talking to see if there's any kind of
But
implications here.
he's coming up. So if if they're not like ready to go Parison today, like if they're like, hey, we'll see how he is tomorrow and probably gonna play, they're bringing him up just in case because they don't want Bush up here. So they did the Bouchard thing was just for fucking paper, but they don't want Manning playing.
So I was just gonna say. So do we think that like 20 games into the season, Manning hasn't seen a game in the NHL and we put him on waivers and he's gone?
I'm
No,
assuming
nobody's
that
picking him up.
I'm actually
Well,
surprised
no,
they
but down
haven't.
to the AHL.
Yeah.
I'm actually surprised they haven't Sheldon Surreyed him to another team. You know what I mean?
Nobody wants him.
I want Ken Holland to do that though. I want him to send him to the loophole island and be done with him. You know what I mean?
Hey Brandon, don't you have a sore back?
Can we do that
Wink.
with Koskinen somehow?
Allergies.
Hey,
allergies
Mikko,
are rampant
Mikko,
these days.
all I want is before Christmas last year, Mikko. Before the injury.
Sure.
If you give me that Mikko, we're fine. He was his average is above 900.
And then he got a contract.
He had a hell of a run there.
And then the defenseman got hurt, and then he played every fucking game.
He had a hell of a run there early in the season last year. He was
involved in 2 5, 6, 7 game win streaks.
I was at a game. It was a 1-0 shutout against the Philadelphia Flyers, and had it not been for Mikko Koskinen, the Oilers would have lost that game, hands down. I was there. I watched it.
So if we remember the early season Mikko, that's fine. Late season Mikko, no thank you.
Be that guy. Don't be bad, Mikko. I want to end today's podcast by thanking our friends at Sherwood Ford the Giant, as well as skipthedishes.ca. I also want to extend a very special thanks to Hernan for being a much better producer than Tyler Yamchuk.
Woo!
Tyler, wherever you are.
Don't come back.
It's probably halfway to Jasper by now.
He's probably halfway to Jasper for his intramurals tournament where he's spree-lunking with the best in Western Canada or something like that. Hernan, hit the button.
Thanks for listening to Oilers Nation Radio, a member of the Nation Network of Podcasts. Make sure to follow us on all of our social media to stay up to date and never miss a podcast.